Welcome to this section where we are going to talk about how to create a website using WordPress. So by the end of this section, you will master everything about WordPress. You will learn a lot of different tools, but it's not all. Beside this, you are going to learn, I'm going to exactly teach you some specific and powerful strategies that will make your website more effective. You can attract more people, you can influence them better regarding the goals that you have from marketing perspective. All right. So there are two things that I want to mention before we begin. Number one, if you are intermediate or advanced in WordPress, you may face some lectures that you already are familiar with. So you can simply skip the lecture and mark it as complete. The reason is because I don't want you to get bored. And number two, all right, I think that was all. See you on the next lecture. Oh, I remember the number two is that on the next lecture, there's an article. I have put the link of all the documents, everything that you need for this part, for this section. I've put them here. Let me show you. So these are the documents I have created for this part, and everything that you need exists here. So on the next part, I have put the link. You can also see it here if you want to just use the URL, or on the next article, you can click on the link and jump into this web page. Keep it here. And as we go forward and we practice, you can come back here. You can read if you are a reader. If you learn more from reading, you can come here and read. And every tool that you need, I put the link here to make your work much easier. So if you're ready, let's go for the next lecture. So let's look at the general plan that we have along this section. So here we are, just you can come with me to the page, the link that I gave you. First of all, at the top, because this page is so long and you may come back after a while, I've put the topics at the top, and to each topic that you want to go, just click on it and it will take you to the section that you like. So starting your website for free in 2020. Sounds interesting, right? So what is the plan here? What is the general plan that we are going to have and create our website? The first thing is that there are a lot of platforms out there that will help you to create a website. For example, there is Wix. There is Squarespace, and a lot of other websites that let you create a landing page just to have sales. But why we are choosing WordPress? First of all, it's very simple to use. You may say, all right, Wix is simple too. Yes, but the difference here is that you are in charge of everything. You are in control of everything. And at the beginning, you may not need some specific tools or specific tasks to be done on your website. But as you go forward, if you need anything, there are thousands of plugins out there that can help you, and you can get them for free. Or you get paid ones, and you can improve your website. But on other platforms like Wix, Squarespace, you don't have this ability. Okay. And also in the long run, it is much cheaper. For WordPress, it's completely free. All you have to do is to pay for a host and a domain, okay? Well, domains are also cheap. We will take a look at it in the next lecture. And hosts, if you don't have a lot of traffic, they are also very cheap. So comparing to the other platforms that let you create a website without coding, WordPress is one of the top choices, and out there millions of people are using it. And I have been talking about it over the past couple of years, and still I think it's the best one, right? So that was the general plan that we are going to have here. On the next lecture, we are going to talk about domains and hosts, right? And I'm going to introduce different platforms from beginner to advanced and show you how you can use it. But don't worry, for this lecture, for this course, to practice, we are going to select some platform which is completely free, and generally you don't need to pay anything for practicing. Okay, so don't worry about that, and I will see you in the next lecture. Alright, so in this lecture we are going to talk about domain and WordPress, and I'm going to start from scratch because I know a lot of you don't know even the difference between these. So if you are familiar with what is a domain and a host, you can skip this lecture. Also, of course, you can come here to the web page and take a look at the platforms that we have. You can use each of them, or you can just skip the first part that I explain what these are and go for the explanation that which of these platforms is better to use according to your situation. So first of all, what is domain? Well, imagine that you have a house, right? So your house has an address. So you want to tell your people, tell your friends that, all right, for example, this evening come to my a place, okay? So you need to give them an address so they can come and visit you, right? That address is the same thing as domain here. The domain is the address of your website, okay? So if someone wants to come and visit your website and see the information on your website, they have to come, they have to use your domain as an address. They have to write it down or select the link, click on the link and come, right? So there are, I introduced 3 different platforms here. You can use any of them. And in a moment, I'm going to tell you which one to use according to what the different situations that you have. For example, the first one is Namecheap, GoDaddy, and we have Google Domains. There are a lot of other websites that provides domains and host. We get to the host in a minute. You can buy your domain from any platform out there, and one thing it is better to do is to buy your host and domain from the same place, okay? The reason is because they get connected easier, especially if you are a beginner and these things are very new to you. To make your work easier, for example, you can go to the Namecheap and buy your host and domain, both of them from Namecheap, later when you want to start your website. If you want to get, for example, use GoDaddy, you can do the same. But if you buy your domain and host from different places, there are some addresses on your domain that you have to, there are some addresses on your host. You have to take these addresses, put them into your domain. They are called name servers to connect these two together. It's not complicated, but it makes your work more, right? So to avoid that, you can buy them from the same place. So let's take a look at the first one, Namecheap. Let me open all of them. All right, so this is Namecheap. They have domains, they have hosting, WordPress, apps, and security stuff. So here you can come and search for, let's come to the domain. I'm not sure if you're there. All right, so for example, whatever you want to do, as an example, I'm gonna select, for example, the domain of my own website. Of course, it shouldn't be available because I already have it. So, this one is registered in 2016, so it is not available, but it is giving me the other offers. For example, for .NET, it is $12. And if I come down, for example, this one, Puyati.xyz, it's $1 per year, right? For the first year, it is just $1. And if you want to, in a moment when we get here, there is a platform that I want to introduce. You don't need to pay anything for it to practice WordPress and to create a sample website. But in any case, if it didn't work for you, if you face some errors that you couldn't fix, you can always come back here. This is the cheapest way possible beside that platform. So you can come here, buy a domain for a year for $1. And also, if you pay attention here, it is written EasyWP, WP, which stands for Easy WordPress. The first month is also $1. After that, it will be for, I think, $3 or $4. But anyway, for the first month to practice, you can only pay $2 and start practicing. Okay, so that was a side information if you face any problem along the way with the other platform that I'm going to introduce. So these are the domains. As you can see, some of them are very expensive, some of them are cheaper. So you can come here, select your domain, and also add to cart the Easy WordPress, or you can come here. This is for hosting. In a moment, again, we will come back to it. Here's GoDaddy. Again, you can write your domain here and it will search and you can buy it. For example, my website, my domain and my host are both right now on GoDaddy. And then we have Google domain. It's the same thing, but from Google, right? So let me close this. This is all about domain. If you have any question about it, you can, under this video, there is a part written question and answer section. You can write it down and I will respond to your questions as fast as I can. So in general, that was all about domain, and let's talk about host on the next lecture. So welcome to the next video about host. The reason that I make them separate because I don't want to get to make you exhausted and bored. So anytime that you need a break, you can stop and go have a break. Go have a break. So here we are. And so what is host? Well, remember the house example? Now, for example, you buy a place and you build your house. The place, the land that you have, is the same thing here on website. It's the area that you have to put your information. Or another example is it's your computer, your hard drive, but virtually on the internet. So all the information that you have, all the files, all the images, you will upload them on host. And any person who come to your domain, who write the domain, he or she will see the information on your host. Okay, I wrote down other explanations here as well. You can read them too. There are 3 platforms that I suggest here, and well, 2 of them you're familiar already with it. The first one is Namecheap. If you're a beginner, if you look for something simple and easy, go for Namecheap. It's very easy. The moment that you buy your domain, the moment that you buy your host, they are connected. Install WordPress, you will jump onto WordPress and you can begin working on it. Okay. On GoDaddy, it's a little bit more complicated. You will have cPanel, and cPanel is a platform. There's a place, there are a lot of hundreds of elements there. You have to go to your files, you have to install WordPress. There's a process. It's more complicated. That's why I put it for intermediate people. And finally, we have AWS. Also, Google provides host, which name is G Suite, if I'm not mistaken. AWS and G Suite, both of them, I think AWS, this is from Amazon. I think AWS, it is more complicated. I think you have to spend a lot of time learning about AWS and how it works. And usually, you need this when your website is when you have a huge amount of traffic on your website and you're making a lot of money. You can come for AWS and get some advanced servers, right? So the easy choice for your website is Namecheap. And again, all you have to do is to buy your domain, buy your Easy WordPress, and just follow the steps. It's very easy. If you face any problem, you can contact me, or you can contact Namecheap support. Their support is very good. They respond very fast. It's a couple of times I used it. Anyway, so that was all about the host. Okay. Again, if it sounds a little bit complicated for some of you, that's okay. You can send me messages and I will explain more. And don't think about it too much, because as we go forward, it will get easier for you. You start to understand things when we go forward, and it will look less complicated, right? So that was all about host. If you have any question, Do not forget or hesitate to contact me. I am here for you. Don't think that you're alone. And on the next lecture, I'm going to introduce the tool which is free and we can use it to practice. So let's go for the next one. Alright, so welcome to the next part. Here in this lecture, we are going to talk about how we can use a free host and a domain or subdomain to practice and learn more about how we can create a website using WordPress. So here we are. I have opened 3 pages here. So in this part, in this lecture, we are going to use a website named infinityfree.net. Okay, as you can see here, infinityfree.net. So this website will provide a free hosting, free space on the internet so we can install our WordPress and set up our website and practice. Okay, so let me tell you one thing here. These free hosting websites, they are good for practicing, but they are not good if you want to, for example, create your final website on it. Okay, if you want to create your company website. Okay, so in that case, I suggest you to go after our other options like Namecheap, Bluehost, maybe GoDaddy, or more advanced AWS. All right, so for practicing, for the purpose of practicing, we are going to learn more about infinityfree.net. So all we have to do here, click on sign up now, and so here you have to write down your email address and your password and so on, and click on create new account and go for the next step. I will do it with you as well. Okay, so alright, so I have created my account. It sent me an email to verify my email. I clicked on the link and I jumped into this page, right? So if you do the same, you will come to a page look like this as well. So all you have to do here is to come and click on create an account now. So let's click here, and in this part, as you can see here, there are 3 steps. Step 1 is choosing a domain name, then enter additional information and complete the tasks. So the first part about domains, if you have a domain, if you already bought a domain or you had a domain before and you want to use it right now, you can do it. You have to come here, click on custom domain and write down your domain, and from here you have to connect your domain to this platform. Okay, but it's not necessary. Even if you have a domain, I suggest you not to go after that unless it's important for you to use your main domain. Otherwise, you can come here, click on subdomain, and you can create a domain with ending .epz.com. Okay, so I'm gonna write down, for example, Puya course.epz.com, right? So I'm gonna search domain if it exists or not. So it doesn't exist. Here I have to enter additional information, but it's not necessary. You can write the password for your account or not. It doesn't matter. It will generate it randomly as well. Just click on I'm not a robot and create account. So that's all. We have created an account here right now. Okay. So right now we have to click on the control panel. Now this control panel, if you have been previously used, for example, platforms like GoDaddy, they have a part which is called cPanel or control panel. It's more or less look like what we see here, right? So when you learn the stuff on this page, then it will be easier for you to use other platforms that provide hosting like GoDaddy. So on this page, as you can read here, to notify you of any changes in the service and account and so on, we need the permission to send you emails, so you can click on approve, and that would be all. This is cPanel or control panel. As you can see on the right side, there are some information about your host. As I mentioned it before, host is like a computer virtually, okay? So computer, they have, for example, RAM, they have storage, hard, and they have, for example, CPU to process the data and so on. You can see all of those information on the right side, especially when you get a real host from other platforms. So right now we have to install WordPress. You have to come down here under software. As you can see, this the second one, apps installer. Just click on it. All right, so on this page, as you can see, there are a lot of softwares that we can install, and the first one is WordPress. So all we have to do is to click on install, and don't worry about the things that exist here. We can change these things as we go forward. For example, the name of the website, the description. Don't worry about any of this information. All you have to do here, look at here we have admin username and admin password. Okay, you can write whatever you want. Right now the username is admin and the password is pass, and you can write down your email here. This is because WordPress will send you some emails about what is happening on your website. You can write down your email here and you receive notifications on that email. But anyway, the most important thing, or if you want to reset your password and so on, it will use this password. It will use this email. So all you have to do, if you want to edit something, you can create a username and password. This is for logging into WordPress. I will let it be as it is because we're just practicing, all right? So don't worry about the rest of it, and all you have to do is to just click on install. It will take couple of seconds to install it. While it is installing WordPress, let me tell you one thing, okay? This is a free hosting platform. Now, the thing is that all free hosting platforms, because they are free, their servers are a little bit weak, okay? It's not so fast. They don't respond so fast all the time. Sometimes, for example, right now that I'm installing WordPress and recording this lecture, it is taking a little bit too long. Maybe it takes, for example, 5 minutes to install WordPress. But this morning I tried it and it installed the WordPress in, for example, 20 seconds. So always remember that because it is free, their servers are weak, and maybe they have some bugs, okay? That's normal because it is free. So if you try to use these platforms and sometimes it is very slow, that's okay. You can just let it be and come back in 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or a couple of hours and try again, okay? Sometimes they have high traffic and it would take a little too long to do the stuff that you want to do, okay? So as you see, it is installing and it's complete. It took a couple of seconds and it's ready. So when you at this point, it will provide it is completely installed, and it provides two links, okay? The first one is your website and the second one is the admin panel of your website. So I'm gonna click and open both of them. This is the first one and this is the second one, which is the WordPress dashboard. Okay, from this dashboard we can edit our website, we can change the way it looks, we can design anything that we want. We are going to learn all of them along the course, all right? So one tip, let me tell you one thing that it is important. Sometimes, as you can see, I just installed it and the website is ready, everything here, and I can get into my WordPress dashboard. Sometimes it takes more time, okay? Maybe it depends on many other features, but if you clicked on it, installed your WordPress, and you came here and you see it, you don't see a page look like this and you cannot get access to the WordPress dashboard, that's okay. Give it some time, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, up to, I think, maximum 2-3 hours maximum. It will be ready and you can start using the platform, okay? So on the next part, we'll learn more about the WordPress dashboard and the environment there. So that would be all for this lecture. If you are ready, let's go for the next one.